This video will cover the male reproductive system as part of the human body unit. The need to know structures for the male reproductive system include the penis, scrotum, testes, vas deferens or sperm duct, and the prostate gland. In terms of function, we'll be looking at the production of sperm cells and the role these play in fertilization. Main functions of the male reproductive system are in the formation of those sperm cells, how those sperm cells are then transported out of the male reproductive tract and into the female, as well as the production of the hormone testosterone. Here is a diagram of the male reproductive system. Pause the video and see if you can identify all of the need to know structures. The answers are So looking at some of these key structures, starting with the testes, these have two main functions. So the production of the sperm cells, which take place in structures known as seminiferous tubules, and the hormone testosterone made by the interstitial cells. So if we take a look at a diagram of the testes, we see those seminiferous tubules, these small tube-like structures that are found within the testes. These will eventually unite to form a larger structure connecting up to the sperm duct, the vas deferens. And surrounding these tubules is where you'll find interstitial cells, cells responsible for the production of testosterone. So under the under the instruction of testosterone, seminiferous tubules will begin their production of sperm cells. Also have to be aware of the accessory glands, in particular the prostate gland. So the seminal vesicles and the prostate gland both are responsible for secreting liquids that contain key components that are vital to the action of the sperm cell. So this could be things such as fructose or sugar, prostaglandins or enzymes, all of which are required for the sperm to be able to keep moving through the male reproductive tract in order to exit and perform its role in fertilization within the female reproductive tract. So once the sperm is mixed with these fluids, that's when you have the formation of semen, which will help the sperm in terms of nourishment, in terms of energy and movement as it continues on through these tubules, part of the reproductive system. So if we look at that journey of the sperm cell from production within those seminiferous tubules all the way to its exit. So we start with these little sperm cells. These are small rounded cells within the seminiferous tubules. But once the tubules receive the instruction of testosterone, these cells will begin to develop, begin to mature, and start to take on that feature that might be more familiar, the head, the neck, and the tail of the sperm cell. Once they're mature, they will travel to a structure known as the epididymis, which sits on the surface of the testes, and there they will continue to develop for another several weeks. They're now ready to migrate out of the testes and into the sperm duct, also known as the vas deferens. So the sperm will move through this tube structure, through the vas deferens, travel past the seminal glands where it will be nourished by the semen. Eventually, it will continue on until the sperm duct, the vas deferens, merges with the urethra, through which the sperm will exit during ejaculation. So all the way from the seminiferous tubules to the urethra. Made in the testes, then pushed up through the vas deferens, mixed with the fluids from the glands, then will be forced out of the penis entirely, where it can enter the female reproductive tract for the function of fertilization. So we talked about testosterone and its role in the production of sperm cells, but there are two other hormones that are also important for the male reproductive system. These originate from the pituitary gland in the brain. So this is follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, which in turn help with the production of testosterone and therefore the production of the sperm cells themselves. The ultimate goal of the sperm cell, the ultimate destination, is of course the female reproductive tract. The goal of the sperm cell is to make it and survive all the way to the egg in order for fertilization to take place. So there are millions of sperm will be released during ejaculation and deposited within the female reproductive tract during intercourse. So this is a very perilous journey, so they have to be able to survive all the way through the vagina, through the cervix, through the uterus to the fallopian tube, where it'll eventually reach the egg cell if it's lucky, but most of these sperm cells will die along the way. Only a few hundred will make it anywhere close to the egg cell, and of course, only one will go on to actually fertilise the egg itself. If the sperm survives, it is capable of penetrating that outer layer of the egg cell. From there, the head, which contains all of the genetic material, it will fuse with the nucleus, the genetic material of the egg cell, and thus the egg will become fertilised, begin to develop, and we'll look at what happens next when we cover the female reproductive system. If any questions about the male reproductive system, please leave them in the comment box below.